Hey y'all, so today we're going to talk about my trip from Page to Bryce Canyon. Now, if you've been following my the US National Park series, right now I'm doing like a full-on road trip from Vegas all the way to Grand Canyon, Bryce, and Antelope Canyon and Zion. So this is going to be a whole round trip. And if you saw my previous video, I went a little bit about the Horseshoe Bend, which is also in Page, Arizona. And in this one, I'm gonna take you to the Bryce Canyon, which is famous for their hoodoos. And let's see what all the hoodoos are about, how they're formed, and how long it's gonna take you to get to Bryce Canyon. So some of the main facts is that now you could go directly to Zion from Page, and it's going to take you less than 2 hours, in fact. So the main pit stop that you might want to take is Kanab. So from Kanab, if you head north and you keep going north, you would end up at Bryce Canyon. But if you decide even at like Kanab that you want to go to Zion, you could do that. And Zion has even more spectacular views. Bryce is all about the hoodoos and the amazing formation. Now, there are a few key places in Bryce that you could hike depending on the weather and whether the trail is in place. So the Navajo switchback loop, that's the main one. That's the most common one. That's the one you might have seen about with the Thor hammer on it. So the Thor hammer you could see at any point in time, but the Navajo loop switchback, it might be closed depending on the weather during like winter and stuff. But that's the most famous one for hiking. And if you want to just like take in the view, the inspiration point, both the lower and the upper inspiration point, they are most famous, and also the Bryce Point. Now, if you want to see like the sunrise or the sunset, you could head out to any of them, but really my favorite one would be the inspiration point for sunrise, and then the Bryce Point for sunset. Um, but yeah, you cannot really go wrong with any of the places. You could also go to the main Bryce Canyon National, like near the Navajo Loop Switchback Trail. There's this road that's for the Sunset Point. That is also a really good place. And mind you, there's quite a few places that you could go to, and you could also just always drive or like hike down into the loop, but the views are gonna be stunning regardless. And now the hoodoos, they are amazing formations, and you can see they are formed by like, well, actually, let's go back a little bit, and this is from the NPS website. So there are mainly three steps for the hoodoos to form. Now, if you think about a hill and the way the some of the formations that might be formed on the hill, it's usually due to like erosion and like from rain or snow, and then there's more erosion, or like avalanches, stuff like that. Bryce Canyon is a little bit different. Now, this actually was formed on like flat laying rocks, and that's the main wonder. Like you see all these tall pillar, almost like someone actually made it. But it was all flat at one point because it was like a floodplain system, and it was near sea level, like it was previously like Lake Claron about like 50 million years ago. And then you have the North American plate rising up, and then it bringing up like quite so much. Right now, like the Bryce Canyon, the highest elevation is about 9,000 feet, like about sea level, and it is pretty cool. Even when I was there, um, in the month of May, it had a lot of snow. Bryce Canyon sees a lot of snow. So anytime that you're going there, there's probably going to be snow, and it changes almost daily. And that's the main reason that the hoodoos form, really, because this whole like flat rock layer has so much of silt, which has like so much of silt, which has like calcium carbonate, and once everything like freezes, the calcium carbonate absorbs actually a lot of water, right? More than the soil itself. So then that thaws, and as everything unfreezes and thaws around, they break apart, and all of the mixed salt and minerals that was mixed up with the water, they eventually like dissolve and go out, and that's how the HOODOOS are formed. So here's a photo, like sequence again from NPS, based on how it used to be like as a plateau, and then it eventually started breaking into like walls and windows, and then finally into the individual HOODOOS. And it does look unreal because once you go and take in and look at the view, you are gonna be like, oh no, somebody actually made this. Someone really went out there and carved up the Thor hammer and all of these individual like pillar like structures. But it's amazing how they're all like from nature. They all formed from nature like over like thousands and thousands of years ago. And the most fascinating part, I think it's about like how it still changes every day because it has a lot of snow. It's still Bryce Canyon, even if you go like at any point in time, it still gets like a lot of snow overnight, and then it again like melts every day, and that's an amazing part. And when you actually look at the Bryce Canyon from this point, you could see like how many million years ago that this was formed, and you can see the Grand Staircase, which is actually composed of the whole region, like how old the Earth was and all of the layers. And you could see like through the Grand Staircase, like how much has changed. You can also see the like the dinosaur era, the Cretaceous era, stuff like that, I think, which is like super awesome and super cool. But yeah, like, and the best part is that if you don't want to like hike so much, like I was there like in the winter, almost like spring, winter, so I didn't do much of hiking, and also the Navajo Loop switchback was closed down because of a landslide, and they always like make sure to get that ready and up and going for the next season, and I haven't checked back really, but yeah, so it's always amazing how much it changes. The area always like keeps changing. So and all of the volunteers definitely do like such a great job maintaining the trail. So always like stay on the trail, don't veer off trail, and leave no trace, and just have fun. It's such an amazing place. Just the Bryce Canyon and the hoodoos, and it's so lovely. You always have the park rangers out there, so if you have any questions at all, anytime that you go do visit, you can always ask them, and they're very helpful. Whether you want to like do like a short trail, if you want to see how much you can like hike for the day. Now I've met quite a bunch of people who hike like all night. Some people do hike all day. And then they come and reach the inspiration point or the sunset point just at the time of the sunset. So it's just amazing to see all those people too, and you just stand there in awe, thinking, "Oh my God, this is the most amazing place!" Like, and there's no way that actually someone didn't create it. Like those pillars, they just look like straight out of like some architecture. And if you have been to any of the temples in Tamil Nadu, they they have like so many temples, and the pillars are so intricately carved. Not just Tamil Nadu, like all over like India, that the temple pillars, they are like intricately carved out. And I kind of like felt like that's how the hoodoos looked at it, so precious, as if someone actually went and chiseled it out, like each of the hoodoos. So it's just amazing to just look in to nature, and I guess find inspiration. So yeah, that was my whole trip for about Bryce Canyon. In the next video, I'm gonna take you guys to Zion, and if you haven't watched my previous video on the Horseshoe Bend, the Antelope Canyon, check it out. And so the only other thing about Bryce Canyon that I would suggest is packing your lunch or like your food. Rather than that, it's such an amazing place. And never forget your hiking poles. Also, it kind of looks like people are like ants walking around the switchbacks. Um, but also, like, remember, it's still a national park, so you are still gonna run into some animals. So be on the lookout for wildlife and always be prepared. Until I see you guys next time, bye.